There's a kind of power that doesn't make a sound, a force so undeniable that it doesn't need to announce itself. It moves quietly, steadily, and with the kind of certainty that turns doubt into dust. Too often, we waste our energy defending, explaining, or proving ourselves to people who aren't even listening. We spend time justifying our dreams instead of building them. We react to noise instead of creating impact. And in all that, we lose momentum. But imagine for a moment what would happen if we let the silence speak for us. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you strip away fear's greatest weapon: attachment. The attachment to what people think, to the illusion of control, to the idea that failure is fatal. But the truth is that the most dangerous person in the room is the one who isn't afraid to lose. Because that person is willing to take the leap, to bet on themselves, to move forward without waiting for permission. Silence isn't weakness, it isn't inaction. It's choosing to let results be the response. It's choosing to listen when others are too busy talking. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need applause or validation. It's walking into a room and owning it, not because you shouted the loudest, but because your energy speaks louder than words ever could. So the next time you feel the urge to prove something, don't. The next time someone underestimates you, let them. The next time fear tells you to hesitate, move. Not because you have something to prove, but because you have everything to gain. Move in silence. Act like you have nothing to lose, because the moment you do, you become unstoppable. There's a rare kind of power in silence, the kind that doesn't need validation, doesn't seek approval, and doesn't waste energy proving its worth. It just exists, steady, unshaken, undeniable. The world is full of noise, opinions flying in every direction, distractions pulling us away from our purpose, and a constant demand to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. But true strength doesn't come from shouting the loudest. It comes from knowing who you are and letting your actions do the talking. Silence isn't weakness. It isn't submission. It's control. It's the ability to stand in the midst of chaos and remain unfazed. It's choosing not to engage in battles that don't matter, not reacting to every challenge thrown your way. It's about conserving your energy for what truly deserves it. Some people mistake silence for a lack of confidence, but in reality, it's the greatest display of self-assurance. The person who doesn't feel the need to explain themselves, that's the person who already knows they're on the right path. The most successful, most impactful individuals don't waste their breath convincing people of their worth. They just show up. They put in the work, they build, they grow, they rise. And when they finally speak, the world listens. Why? Because their silence was never empty. It was filled with movement, strategy, and purpose. In a world obsessed with instant validation, dare to be different. Let them underestimate you. Let them assume you have nothing to offer. And while they talk, while they doubt, while they wait for you to prove yourself, keep moving, keep building, keep becoming. Because when the results speak, no words are needed. Fear thrives on attachment. The more you cling to expectations, opinions, and the illusion of control, the more power fear has over you. It whispers doubts, builds walls, and convinces you that playing it safe is the only option. But what if you let go? What if instead of fearing loss, you embraced the idea that you have nothing to lose? The moment you detach from fear, you become free, free to take risks without the weight of what if, free to fail without shame, free to step into the unknown without hesitation. The people who make the biggest impact in life are not the ones who tiptoe around failure, terrified of missteps. They are the ones who move boldly, knowing that every experience, win or lose, is just another step forward. Fear tricks you into thinking that loss is the end, that if you fall, it's over. But nothing is truly lost if you keep moving. The only real failure is standing still, letting fear dictate your choices. Imagine what would happen if you stopped holding back, if you stopped waiting for permission. If you stopped giving fear a seat at the table, you would act with a kind of courage that changes everything. Silence and detachment go hand in hand. When you stop reacting to fear, when you refuse to let it control you, you become untouchable. The world no longer dictates your path. You do. And when you move as if there's nothing to lose, you step into a life where everything is possible. The loudest voice in the room is rarely the most powerful. In a world obsessed with proving, justifying, and explaining, real strength comes from a quiet kind of certainty, the kind that doesn't beg for recognition but commands respect through action. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to convince others of your worth, let your results be the proof. Because at the end of the day, words can be argued, opinions can be debated, but results, they are undeniable. There is an energy shift that happens when you stop seeking validation. When you no longer feel the need to announce every step you take, you become unpredictable, and in that unpredictability lies power. While others waste time talking about what they plan to do, you are already in motion. While they argue about possibilities, you are creating reality. While they wait for the perfect moment, you are building something too strong to be ignored. People may doubt you, they may question your choices, misunderstand your silence, and even mistake it for weakness. Let them. Their disbelief is not your burden to carry. Your focus should not be on proving them wrong, but on proving yourself right. Because when your actions start speaking, the same people who doubted will have no choice but to acknowledge what you've built. There is nothing more powerful than someone who moves in silence. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand that success is the only response needed. Be that person. Let your work make the noise. Let your results tell the story. And when the world finally turns to listen, you won't have to say a word. Real confidence doesn't come from shouting your worth. It comes from knowing it so deeply that you don't need to say a thing. It's the quiet certainty of someone who has nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to lose. It's the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention but naturally draws it. Because true power isn't in the noise, it's in the unwavering belief that you are enough, with or without recognition. The world will try to convince you that confidence is about being the loudest in the room, about making sure everyone sees you, hears you, and acknowledges you. But the ones who truly leave a mark are those who move with quiet conviction, whose actions do the speaking. They don't waste energy trying to be noticed because they understand that real confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. When you stop seeking validation, something shifts. You become untouchable. You stop reacting to opinions, you stop explaining yourself, and you stop waiting for permission. You no longer fear being underestimated because you know that silence is not absence, it is preparation. And while others fill the air with noise, you are building something unshakable. Let them think you have nothing to offer. Let them mistake your silence for insignificance. Because when you finally move, when your work speaks for itself, the world won't just notice. You will become impossible to ignore. Confidence isn't about proving yourself. It's about knowing that in the end, the truth always reveals itself. And when it does, you won't have to say a word. Hesitation is the silent killer of dreams. Every time you pause, overthink, or wait for the right moment, you give fear a chance to creep in. But the ones who succeed, the ones who truly become unstoppable, are those who move without hesitation. They don't ask for permission, they don't wait for approval, and they don't let doubt slow them down. They act as if they have nothing to lose, because in truth, the only real loss is the life that never begins because fear held it back. There is a kind of momentum that comes when you stop hesitating. When you decide that you will no longer be a prisoner to what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, you tap into a force that is bigger than fear. The moment you stop explaining, stop defending, and stop justifying, you start building. While others are still thinking about whether they should take the leap, you are already in the air, soaring towards something greater. People will try to slow you down with their doubts, their questions. Let them talk. While they hesitate, you execute. While they overthink, you take action. Because those who move in silence, who act with boldness, become impossible to stop. The world doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who dare. Be that person. Move, act, build. Don't wait for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. The moment is now, and when you act as if you have nothing to lose, you gain everything. There comes a point in life when you realize that the only thing standing between you and everything you want is the noise. The noise of fear, the noise of doubt, the noise of opinions that don't matter. But when you silence all of it, when you stop reacting and start acting, You step into a version of yourself that is limitless. You begin to understand that you never needed permission, validation, or approval. You were always enough. The most powerful moves are made in silence. The most unstoppable people are the ones who don't waste time explaining, defending, or waiting. They move with purpose, with certainty, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth without needing to prove it. They understand that every second spent arguing with doubt is a second lost in building their future. Life is too short to play it safe, to hesitate, to live in fear of losing what was never meant to hold you back. The moment you act as if you have nothing to lose, you set yourself free. Free from the weight of expectations, free from the fear of failure, free from the need to explain your path to those who will never understand it. And in that freedom, you find the courage to take the leaps that change everything. Let them wonder, let them doubt, let them assume you have nothing to offer. But while they talk, while they watch, while they wait, you move, you create, you become. And when the time comes, when the results speak louder than words ever could, you won't need to say a thing. Because those who are truly unstoppable don't announce their power, they show it.